Breaking free from a toxic relationship is a victory, but here's the truth. If you don't heal the deeper patterns, you risk ending up in the same cycle all over again. Today, I'm going to show you how to not only move forward, but how to thrive in your new future and how to build a life that feels like it's yours again. And finally, to make sure that you do not repeat the same toxic patterns. Welcome back to Divorce Den, everyone. We are on episode 5 in our 5-part series on toxic love and specifically trauma bonds. Episode 1, we talked about the trauma bonds themselves and what keeps getting you sucked into staying in those kind of relationships. Episode 2, we talked about the silent ways that you can start to leave even though you haven't physically left yet. Episode 3, we talked about how to reclaim yourself, start to try to find your own identity again. And episode 4, big one, we talked about the boundaries and how important it is to set and stick to boundaries. And today we're talking about building a future where you can thrive. Because leaving is the beginning, thriving is the goal. And far too often I see people confusing the physical leaving with healing. There are many people who have physically left toxic, even abusive relationships, but the healing didn't start just because of the physical leaving. It is very hard to start to heal when you are physically still in that relationship. So I fully understand where that confusion comes from, where maybe that rub is. Okay, well, I've left, so now I've started on my healing journey. You could have started on your healing journey long before you left, but doing the deep emotional work really comes after you physically leave. Because if you are stuck in a trauma bond, any kind of toxic relationship, and you're continuing to be bombarded by all of this emotional negativity, by the gaslighting, by the yelling, by the control, how are you ever going to really do the deep work of healing and breaking free from that trauma bond? It's pretty hard to do when you're living under the same roof with someone. But once you physically leave, you can start to do that healing. But again, please do not confuse the two. As a divorce attorney, I have seen many people who have physically left and left that toxic ex behind, only to find themselves in the same pattern again with somebody new. Sometimes the patterns even escalate and are even worse because they haven't taken time to step back and do the hard work, the deep work of finding themselves, of healing that trauma, of peeling back the onion and figuring out what caused them to stay. What do they need to do for themselves to heal in order to make a better life for themselves going forward, in order to create a life where they're going to thrive, in order to find a partner who is not going to be toxic, who is not going to treat them the same way as their ex did. And again, this is not about blame. That is not what we are talking about. What we're talking about is breaking free of those trauma bonds that continue to pull you back in, because that freedom without self-worth and self-reflection and actually doing the things that you need to do in order to move forward kind of feels like a void. And somehow that void needs to get filled up. And if it's familiar and it feels safe and it feels comfortable to move toward and to gravitate toward someone with those toxic traits, that's what you're going to do. So instead, today what we're going to be talking about is taking that void and filling it up with things that are meaningful to you, that are going to help you create your best self. So if you ever do find a new partner, and you don't have to, but if you do find a new partner, it's going to be someone who works with you, who's a true partner, where you're going to start breaking free of those trauma bonds now, so you are never attracted to those dynamics again. And remember, when you're doing the work, whether you're working with a therapist, whether you're working with a coach, whoever it is that's helping you on this trauma bond healing journey, know that it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm just being honest with you. It's not going to feel like something that's natural. It's almost like you're coming out of this spell and you have to start doing the hard work to break free from that spell, and it feels uncomfortable. There's going to be a period of time where that void feels so much better to get filled by something that's familiar than by stepping out into this unfamiliar territory like healing. But I have confidence in you. I know you can do this. One day, one step at a time. You can't build a new future by using the blueprints of the past that actually hurt you. And step 1 is awareness. That's actually your superpower. Having that feeling inside like things need to change, things need to shift, and you need to start healing. Embrace that. Lean into it, even when it's uncomfortable. Because the fact that you're here listening to this means you're more conscious and you're more aware than you were yesterday. And every day you're just going to become a little bit more aware, and you're going to become a little bit stronger, and you are going to be one step closer to your best life. So let's talk about ways that you can start to reprogram that old blueprint in your head. Number one, ask yourself this question. What did I learn about love growing up? What are the lessons that were taught to me? What are the messages that were given to me? And be honest about it. Not those postcards that you saw, not those Rockwell paintings. I'm talking about in your life, in your home, from your parents, from people close to you. What did you learn about love? What did it mean as you were growing up? Number two, ask yourself, what did I tolerate in my last relationship that I will not tolerate again? And be very honest, be very specific. And if it's helpful, write all of this down. Put this down in a journal, whether it's a written journal, whether it's a digital journal. Start to put these things down and think about them. Give yourself time to step back and really think about what love meant to you growing up and what are those toxic things that you are not going to tolerate anymore in any relationship. Because this is step one for you to start to reframe equating love to chaos, because that's not what love is. And love is certainly not a sacrifice of yourself. And here's something else that maybe you can put down on your non-negotiable list. Instead of the things that you don't want to tolerate, why don't you write a list of your green flags? Instead of your red flags, write down all of the things that you do want to see in a partner, all of the things that you do want to see in any relationship, whether it is with a significant other or it's just with close friends. Put down all of the green flags, the things that make you feel good about being in any type of relationship with someone. Because those green flags or those traits, those are the things you want to look for when you're forming either a new relationship or a friendship, and you want to lean into that. And something else that we talked about was boundaries and how important it is to have your boundaries and to stick to your boundaries. When you're creating any new relationship, whether it is a romantic relationship or even just a friendship, it's important for you to start testing those boundaries with these new people in your life. Make sure that you're clear with them about what your boundaries are. And from the very beginning, see how they respect your boundaries or see how they don't respect your boundaries. If they are not respecting your boundaries from the beginning, I promise you, they are not going to respect your boundaries tomorrow. Do not ignore that red flag. If someone pushes against your peace early on in your relationship, they are showing you exactly who they are. Believe them. Thriving means you stop living reactively and you start living intentionally. Think about reclaiming your passions. Start to write down in the same journal things that you gave up when you were in that relationship, things that you couldn't do that actually brought you joy. Were you not able to go and have lunch with your friends? Were you not able to go to the beach? Were you not able to pursue hobbies that you used to enjoy? Write all of that down. These are the things that you like to do, that you enjoy doing, that when you were in that toxic relationship, you felt like you had to hide, or you felt like you had to stifle, or that you were flat out not allowed to do. And whether these are hobbies or friendships or career goals, going to school, reading certain books, whatever it is, write it down. No matter how big, no matter how small, you are entitled to start reclaiming yourself. Start to build a support system. Having a supportive network around you is so important. It's actually one of the most important things, because there's going to be times, no matter how hard you're working this, no matter how much you're sticking to the path to create your best future, you're going to have bad days. Everybody does. And you're going to need a network of trusted friends and family and colleagues who you can reach out to. And you can say, can I please just speak to you for a few minutes because I'm having a really hard time. And I would appreciate your shoulder to cry on, your head to give me new ideas, or just somebody to sit there and listen to me vent. And please be sure to surround yourself with people who mirror back to you your self-worth, not people who are going to bring you down or who are going to start telling you things that are not true, like, oh, you need to go back to him, or things really aren't that bad. No, someone who really gets it, who really has a good ear to listen, and who is going to be a good support system for you. Part of that network can be your healthy friendships. It can be divorced den, and I highly encourage you to include a therapist or a coach, someone who you can work with to start doing that deep work. There are so many times when I've heard people say, I don't have time for therapy. I don't have the money to go to a therapist. I don't know how to find a therapist. This is so confusing. I don't know if I'm going to find the right one. Trust me, it is worth the time, the money, and the energy to find the right therapist who can work with you, because I don't know one person who has been working with the right therapist who has not come back and said, This was life-changing. This was absolutely eye-opening and life-changing, and it has helped me see things in a different way so I can start moving forward in a different way. We all know what the definition of insanity is, right? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And many times that's what we do in our life. We find our emotional home and we sit there and we say, okay, I'm comfortable now. Not that I'm okay, not that it's great, but I'm comfortable. And we just move forward in that comfortable zone instead of stepping outside of our comfort zone to really explore who we are meant to be. And that is something I'm challenging you to do. Find the right therapist, work with them, and become who you were meant to be. And I know that is someone fabulous. And let's talk about some routines that reinforce your healing journey. Whether you're working with a therapist or a coach, or you're just starting out trying to find that coach, find that therapist, there are small routines that you can do that are really going to start to fill you up and give you a purpose every single day on your healing journey. Maybe some morning rituals like meditation or journaling, or even just repeating affirmations, going for a walk. Whatever it is, you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up every single day for those small rituals. They will become like your solace. They will become like your friend. So start to do them every single day. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever time you have to carve out, that's your time. And you stick to that morning ritual no matter what. And celebrate your small daily wins, whether it's going for that walk, reading a book, working on that creative project, finishing that one thing that you had to get done. That's a win. Go write that down in your journal because you want to celebrate progress, not perfection, because it's always about moving forward. And it's about progress over perfection. You want to start now to shift from being the victim of that toxic person's energy and negative thoughts and their dysfunction. And you want to become the creator of your own life, the creator of your best future. That toxic relationship took from you, but you are going to choose what to build next. The real freedom comes from knowing that you will never go back. And please know, when I'm saying thriving, this is not just about finding joy or happiness. And I want you to find all of the joy and happiness. But we know that there will be times when we can't. This is about trusting yourself. When those tough times come, and they will come, you can trust in yourself. You can trust in the routines that you're setting out. You can trust in the work that you're doing with your therapist. You can trust in your journaling. You can trust in yourself. You're going to be able to overcome that, and you're going to use the tools that you now have in your toolbox to help you put that in perspective, to start to think about, what was that setback? What did happen? How will I reframe that so that tomorrow I can do better? And as you get triggered, again, which you will now learn to recognize it sooner, act on it sooner, set your boundaries harder, and take a step back and say, what do I need to do now to respond differently to that situation? The toxic cycle starts to break the minute you actually say out loud and believe within yourself that I deserve more, and I'm not going to accept anything less. But I am going to take one step at a time. I'm never going to be perfect. None of us are. But you are going to set yourself up for your most perfect future. And one of the most powerful things that you can do on creating that best future, visualizing your future. What do you want your life to look like in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years? And I don't mean, okay, I'm going to be in a new apartment. I'm going to move to a new town. No, visualize it in extreme detail. Where are you going to be in 1 year? Where are you going to work? How much money are you going to make? Are you going to be commuting there? Are you going to be working from home? Are you going to be an entrepreneur? You decide what you want your future to be and be as detailed as you want. And whatever that future is, it's going to be free from those toxic patterns, free from those toxic people. You're creating in your mind right now for 1 year from now, for 5 years from now, for 10 years from now. You are creating in your mind the absolute best future for yourself, because the more you visualize it, you can start to say it out loud, write it in your journal, and you can now start to take steps toward making it happen. This series has been about moving from poison to peace, from silence to strength, from loss of self to reclaiming your own identity, but thriving. That's where the real power is. Because when you thrive, you not only heal yourself, but you start to break that cycle for good. As a reminder, here are some of the practical things that you can do to start create your best future. Number 1, the awareness, just being aware, which is why you're here. Being aware of the fact that that toxic relationship does not define you. It was not your fault. Your ex's behavior is not your responsibility. Keeping your journal and making sure that you are putting in there the green flags, not just red flags, and you are journaling your feelings. You're writing down your affirmations. You're even writing down those visualization exercises. Who am I going to be in a year from now? Be very, very detailed. Use this journal as your best friend. Do not forget your boundary alignment. When you create new relationships, with friends or colleagues or a significant other, set your boundaries early. And if somebody steps over them, that's the time for you to walk away. Don't forget about reclaiming your passions. Who are you? Who were you? Who do you want to be? Do not shrink into the background. Do not give up on what it is that you want. Go after it. Build that healthy and supportive network of people who are going to be there, who are going to be cheerleading for you, who are going to be your rock when you need it. Create routines and rituals that are meaningful to you every single day. And you are going to shift from victim to creator, and that creator is going to create your best future. This series has been about moving from poison to peace, from silence to strength, from loss of self to reclaiming your true identity. But thriving, that's where the real power is. Because when you thrive, you not only heal yourself, but you start to break that toxic cycle for good. If this series resonated with you, please make sure to subscribe, like the video, and share this with anyone else who is on their healing journey. And please stay tuned to see what's coming next. Going deeper into how to build healthy connections, protect your emotional safety, and create a future where you never repeat the past. Because remember, survival, that's step one. What's your step two? Thriving and living your best life.